Hello everybody, welcome to the stream, welcome. Hope you guys having a good day today, or hoping that you guys would have either better days ahead depending on where you live, or hoping that you guys would have a better day today, because it's still too early. Anyway, this is Marlon here, and this is the national weather discussion for today, Saturday, August 23rd, 2025. And it's Eastern Daylight Time. And, well, we're only going to be streaming for 1 hour talking about the weather. So, oh yeah, and there's also going to be a tropical update. So, currently in the New York City area, it is currently 81 degrees with clear skies in the vicinity. And it will continue to be clear with a high of 81 and a low of 61 for the New York City area. For tomorrow, partly cloudy skies with a high of 79 and a low of 68. For Monday, there will be some showers with a high of 86 and a low of 70. For Tuesday, partly cloudy with a high of 81 and a low of 68. Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 73 and a low of 68. Thursday, clear skies, high 79, low 64. And Friday, mostly cloudy overcast skies with a high of 77 and a low of 68. Alright, so far there hasn't been much severe weather talk. As of right now, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We will conclude by 2:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. What do we have? So we got 73 active weather alerts. We got 2 flash flood warnings in Georgia and South Carolina, 3 special marine warnings in Florida, 5 special weather statements in Texas, Florida, California, 16 extreme heat warnings, 1 dense fog advisory, and that is located where? In just west of Cheyenne. 6 air quality alerts, 34 flood warnings, and 6 red flag warnings. Alright, not bad, not bad. I mean, although there's still some wet weather going on throughout some parts of the country, but let's just hop on to what's going on right now in the Northeast. So, for the most part throughout the Northeast, it's quite dry, especially the entirety of the I-95, well, the northern half of the I-95 corridor, starting from the North Carolina border, through Washington, through Baltimore, then through the megalopolis of the Northeast, through New York City, then towards the busy parts of New England, and then on to Maine. Yep, it's bone dry all across the I-95 corridor in the northern half of the freeway. All I can say is, folks, it's because you have this big area of high pressure. It's bringing in some cool and dry air throughout the Northeast. You can see, folks, it's a wonderful day to go outside. But, however, just because it's a nice day outside doesn't really mean that it's a good idea to go out in the water, because there's still local officials are still putting out some warnings saying to stay out of the water, because Erin, even though it's about a couple hundred miles away offshore, but its effects are still lingering and will last until early next week. But right now, you just gotta enjoy the non-beach, just enjoy the beach weather without going to the beach. Because if you do, you're gonna end up, getting sucked into rip currents and swells, and you'll be pulled out into the water and drown. Now, elsewhere, there are a few parts in the Northeast that are experiencing some clouds and showers, particularly right around the Great Lakes region of upstate New York, western Pennsylvania, and into parts of West Virginia. So you can see that's been more recent in the past hour, mostly to the southern half of the state. Then we go to the southeast, where you do have a stationary front that's all over the Gulf Coast and exiting out just north of Jacksonville and out into the open Atlantic. There is a stationary front that's briefly located in both the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma. There are lots of storms to go around throughout the Gulf Coast, especially throughout the entirety of Florida. And all of that has led to some special marine warnings in South Florida, especially right around Palm Bay, Sebastian, Fort Pierce, Florida, and then you have more just located in Broward County, and especially just offshore from the Biscayne National Park, just southeast of Miami. And the entirety of South Florida, they are getting a lot of thunderstorms right now, especially in the Everglades. Then you go up Florida Turnpike and more thunderstorms, especially on I-95, I-75. No matter which highway you take, it's still going to be wet out there just until you get to the Ocala, Gainesville region, Palm Coast, St. Augustine, and Jacksonville. They may still have some thunderstorms to deal with, but right now it's just exiting for the most part. But still, can't roll another thunderstorm later in the day, considering some daytime heating. In the Panhandle of Florida, there are plenty of pop-up thunderstorms that are just happening right now in the central part of the Panhandle of Florida. And we go to the Carolinas. There are lots of thunderstorms all over Georgia, South Carolina, but North Carolina, it's mostly dry with one flood warning that's still in effect, just located northwest of New Bern. Plenty of flood warnings from Myrtle Beach all the way down to Charleston, especially along the Savannah River and just north of Savannah in South Carolina, though. Just southeast of Atlanta, there's a flash flood warning located in Monticello, Georgia, McDonough as well. University of Georgia, they are getting some thunderstorms going. Oh yeah, by the way, folks, let me just take something out, folks, and see who is playing, just to see college football. Oh yeah, for those of you who are into college football, I think I may want to mention some college football places. Hold on a minute, folks. Hold on a minute. Yeah, just hold on a minute, folks. This is just something that I came up with. Okay, so just so you know, folks, this is the first week of college football, and this is the perfect timing, folks. This is the perfect timing. Okay, so let's see what we got. Well, there are a few live games right now in college football. But the majority of the games, they are actually happening like next weekend, going into Labor Day. So basically, maybe too early in the game, if you know what I mean, folks. Yep, folks, I am way too early. Way too early for college football. But either way, this is, the first weekend, the unofficial weekend, or rather, maybe this is the first time I'm actually discussing college football, for those of you who are into college football, but that's just me, folks. That's just me. Yeah, apparently there's just a lot of games that are going to happen next weekend. Instead, I jumped the gun too early, folks. Hold on a minute. No, actually, this. I may have jumped the gun too early, folks. But anyway, currently it's just well, this is more of like the FBS type of thing, not FCS. I mean, it's a bowl thing, not a conference thing or a championship thing. But right now, it's just Iowa State at Kansas State live, and well, we're not here to talk about like sports live. We're talking about the weather. But I'll just go ahead and just get back to doing the weather right now. But apparently it's actually taking place in Ireland, in Dublin. All right, so I may be too early in the game, but you know what? Anyway, let's just get back to doing the weather. So we do have thunderstorms on the eastern side of Tennessee. They're popping up right now, especially on the northern side in Alabama. Mississippi, mostly clear. Louisiana, but mostly clear. But on the south side, starting to get some storms going, but they're actually happening just south of New Orleans, right along the delta of the Mississippi, as it's happening right now. In New Orleans, they're getting thunderstorms. They're popping up right now around the city. Arkansas, mostly clear right now throughout the state. Then we go to Texas, where Dallas Fort Worth, no, that's not what I wanted to do. There are under air quality alerts. It's urban pollution folks over there in the Metroplex. But along the coast in Texas, pop-up thunderstorms are happening right now. Especially to south of San Antonio, near Uvalde, all the way to the U.S.-Mexico border. In Oklahoma, you're seeing some pop-up thunderstorms right now. Well, not really thunderstorms, passing clouds, a few showers. Those thunderstorms located in southeastern Kansas, they're starting to fade away right now, and they're moving to the southeast now. But regardless, there is a brief cold front located from the panhandle of Oklahoma all the way to Topeka, becoming a stationary front just a little bit, and then becoming a cold front once again as it makes its way to the Great Lakes region and ends up in Canada. In the Ohio Valley, there are some pop-up thunderstorms in the south and eastern parts of the Bluegrass State, and there are also some thunderstorms, just a few of them, happening in northern Indiana, and especially in parts of Indianapolis, all the way to Toledo. And, we do have some passing showers and clouds starting to fade as it moves to the southeast of Missouri. Just a little spoiler alert, though, folks. Alright, and now let's talk about the Great Lakes region. There are some showers and storms throughout parts of the lower peninsula of Michigan right now. It's quite isolated for the most part. They're moving to the east right now. And just some pop-up showers happening located near Marquette, but that is gone. And it's just a little bit that's located between Marquette and Sault Ste. Marie. Mostly dry in Wisconsin, though there is a flood warning just southeast of Janesville. And we work our way towards the Dakotas and Minnesota. The northern half of the state experiencing some pop-up showers and thunderstorms as it makes its way to the southeast right now. In the past 3 hours, folks, in the Dakotas, not much has been going on, but there are flood warnings in the eastern half of South Dakota, the southern half of Minnesota. Then we go down along the Missouri River Valley, where it's quite dry in Iowa and Nebraska. I already mentioned a lot of things in Kansas and Missouri. Then what we have here, we have air quality alerts, all because of wildfires that have been raging throughout Wyoming. And it's located in western Wyoming. I did mention that there's a dense fog advisory just west of Cheyenne. It's dry in both Wyoming and Montana. Idaho, it's mostly dry, but there are air quality alerts, all because of wildfires there. But there are also extreme heat warnings in Lewiston, Idaho. But a few clouds and showers entering through the southwestern part of the state, heading to the northeast at a slow rate, affecting places like Twin Falls and about to approach Boise. We go to the Great Basin states, where you have Colorado. Pop-up thunderstorms occurring throughout some parts of the state. Although not considered widespread, it's quite isolated for the most part throughout Colorado. In Utah and Nevada, they're getting some showers and a few pop-up showers and storms occurring in the past 2 hours. And they're moving to the northeast, folks. That's what's going on throughout much of Utah and Nevada. But if you guys haven't noticed that there are extreme heat warnings in the southern part of Nevada right now, including the Las Vegas area, and as well as we go down to the desert southwest, where you have western and southern Arizona. They are under extreme heat warnings, especially Tucson and Phoenix. Yep. And New Mexico, they have a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms. And you do have this stationary front that's in play from New Mexico, all sneaking through the Four Corners, and then through eastern Utah, southwestern Wyoming, and into Idaho, and ends there. And we go to California, where there are red flag warnings throughout places just north and northwest of Los Angeles. Extreme heat warnings are in effect throughout the interior parts of Southern California, especially parts of the Central Valley, California, plus Fresno. Special weather statements are in effect throughout parts of Southern California, but they're mostly just located to the north of the San Fernando Valley, just crossing through the Angeles National Forest into Lancaster, California, with some thunderstorms that have been brewing and are moving to the northwest, folks. And it's also about to affect places like Bakersfield. Bakersfield is under extreme heat warning right now. Sequoia National Forest, some parts experiencing some thunderstorms right now, especially just south of Mammoth Lakes. And we go upstate California. Not much is going on in the San Francisco Bay Area. A few clouds and showers passing by the city of San Francisco, as well as San Jose and Oakland and Sacramento. But as you can see, extreme heat warnings are in effect throughout Eureka and Klamath National Forest. A few clouds and showers just popping up, yet heading to the northeast, folks. Plus more extreme heat warnings to the southwest in Oregon, including Medford, and also north central Oregon with more extreme heat warnings, and much of Washington State, but plus red flag warnings just outside of Seattle and parts of Olympic National Park. Now let's switch gears to here. Alright, let me refresh the page, folks, on my end, actually. Hold on a minute, folks. Okay, so what do we got? Okay, we got an area of high pressure, just located off Nova Scotia, yet bringing in some cool and dry weather. Yeah, it's sometimes a little bit of sea breeze kicking in the coastal parts of the Northeast. Widespread, though, but in the interior parts of the Northeast, you're seeing winds shifting to the Northeast, in some places up to 25 miles an hour, but other places just a little lighter, though. Hold on a minute, folks. Alright, I'm back, folks. Well, let's take a look at the temperatures throughout the Northeast. You can see in New England, you're experiencing temperatures in the mid 70s to mid 80s. Then we go to upstate New York and Pennsylvania, where temperatures are in the mid 70s to mid 80s. The greater New York City area, temperatures are in the upper 70s to low 80s. Then you go to the mid Atlantic with Virginia, DC, Maryland, and Delaware. You have temperatures that are in the upper 70s to low 80s as well. West Virginia, you have temperatures that are in the upper 70s to mid 80s. Let's go to the south. Well, we do have a widespread area of low pressure, folks. Somewhat light and variable throughout places like parts of Mississippi, Alabama, southern Georgia, and panhandle of Florida, and especially parts of Tennessee. Though variable, but some places you have winds on the west side that are coming from the north, but on the east side coming from the south, just blowing up to 20 miles an hour there. You have Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. Winds are coming from the north, yet they're actually shifting to the southwest in Texas, just blowing up to 25 miles an hour there. In the peninsula part of Florida, westerly winds kicking in, blowing up to 20 miles an hour, especially in the Keys and the Carolinas. You have strong onshore winds blowing at up to 25 miles per hour there. Yet some of the winds, particularly in North Carolina, they're shifting to the north. Let's go talk about temperatures. So let's do it. In the Carolinas, temperatures are in the 70s. Georgia, they're in the mid 70s to low 80s. Tennessee, 80s. Alabama, Mississippi, temperatures are in the mid 70s to low 90s. We go down to Florida, where temperatures are in the upper 70s to mid 80s. We go to Arkansas, Louisiana. Temperatures are in the upper 70s, upper 80s to low 90s. Oklahoma, temperatures are in the mid 70s to low 90s. Texas, temperatures there, they are in the upper 70s to mid 90s there. Now let's go over to the Midwest. So what do we got? Okay, so the Midwest. Why? My God. Okay, so you have the Dakotas in the upper Mississippi Valley. Winds are coming from the northwest, blowing up to 30 miles an hour there. But as the winds approach the Great Lakes region, they shift to the northeast. In the Ohio Valley, they're still blowing to the southeast, but some places blowing to the northeast, but winds there are only blowing up to 20 miles an hour, but in the Great Lakes region, also up to 30 miles an hour. In the Great Plains region, like the Missouri River Valley, like Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri, winds are actually shifting down south, just blowing up to 25 miles an hour there, maybe up to 30 in some places. Let's talk about temperature, folks. So what do we got? Okay, so let's start off with the Ohio Valley, where you have temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s in Kentucky, mid 70s to low 80s in Ohio, upper 70s to low 80s in Indiana, low 80s in Illinois. Go up to the Great Lakes region. You have temperatures there that are in the 70s in the lower peninsula of Michigan, upper peninsula, upper 60s to low 70s, Wisconsin, mid 70s to mid 60s to mid 70s. Now let's head over to the Dakotas and Minnesota. Let's see what we got. So temperatures are in the upper 60s to upper 80s. In the Dakotas, temperatures there are in the mid 60s to low 70s. Further down along the Missouri River Valley, so what do we got? So Iowa, temperatures are in the 70s along with Nebraska. Missouri, temperatures are in the 80s. Kansas, mid 70s to mid 80s. Let's go to the west. Hold on a minute, folks. much of the west is dealing with light and variable winds. Let's see, we got Montana on the east side, especially Wyoming. Winds are actually shifting to the west and then to the northwest in Wyoming. And then in the desert southwest, you have winds generally blowing to the north, coming from the Gulf of California, but coming from Texas. In New Mexico, they're shifting just to the north, but it's a little light though. Light and variable, but stronger winds are blowing up to 25 to 30 miles per hour locally, especially on the leeward side of the Cascades. And offshore, you have winds that are blowing up to 30 miles an hour off of California. Yeah, let's see what we got for temperatures for right now. So let's see what we got. So temperatures in Montana, they're in the 70s. Idaho, temperatures are in the 60s to low 70s. In the northern half, southern half, 70s to upper 80s. Wyoming, temperatures are in the mid-60s to mid-70s. We go down to Utah, Colorado, and Nevada. Temperatures there range from 68 in Colorado Springs to 89 in Grand Junction. Utah, temperatures are in the low 80s to mid-90s. Nevada, temperatures throughout much of the state, they're in the 80s, but southern half, 90s to mid-hundreds. The desert southwest, you have New Mexico, temperatures are in the 80s. Arizona, temperatures in the northern half of the state, they range from 77 in Alpine to 97 in Kingman. In southern Arizona, temperatures are in the upper 90s to low hundreds. California, let's see, you have 62 in Eureka, the San Francisco Bay Area, temperatures are in the 70s. LA, 89, 77 in San Diego, 102 in Indio. Temperatures right now along right around the Central Valley, they are in the mid to upper 90s. Now we go up to the Pacific Northwest. Temperatures in Oregon, they are in the 80s. In Washington State, temperatures range from 75 in Seattle to 91 in Yakima. Alright, so now let's take a look at what's going on with gusts. Okay, so with gusts, wind gusts are quite strong, just blowing up to 40 miles an hour in the interior parts of the Northeast, going up to Maine, and in the upper Mississippi Valley, the Dakotas, and the Great Lakes region. The winds are picking up to about 30 to 50 miles an hour there. I said wind gusts, but some places throughout the South, their winds are up, wind gusts are up to 30 miles an hour, maybe a little past that, depending on where you are, and the storms as well, because some storms they can cause a lot of damaging winds there. But however, this is just an estimate, folks. Hold on a minute, folks. Alright, folks. Okay, so it is 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Welcome to the stream for those of you just tuning in. My name's Marlon. This is episode... Well, not really an episode. This is the National Weather Discussion for Saturday, August 23rd, 2025. And we also have a tropical update, which we'll get to in a few minutes. Hope you guys having a good day, or hope that you guys have better days ahead, or hoping that today will get better as the day progresses. I mean, it is 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Okay, so let's take a look at the West. I mean, the West, some places have wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour locally. Let's take a look at humidity. Keep in mind that this was Erin that you guys are seeing it on the right part of the map part of the screen. That's former tropical cyclone Erin. It's no longer a thing, but ocean swells, that's still a thing. But yet we do have a system that looks like as though it may be brewing just located northeast of Puerto Rico right now, but however, it doesn't really look like an organized system at the moment. I mean, as you can see, the winds are not really circular. I mean, one side does have stronger winds and the other not so. I mean, this is just not much is going on, folks. Okay. And then we'll check on the tropics momentarily. Where's the humidity? So the most humid place would be in the Carolinas and Georgia and parts of Florida. I mean, many parts of Florida. It's quite humid there. Northern Minnesota, and especially plenty of humidity just to the west of Cheyenne, but betting that the dense fog advisory may be lifted. But, well, let's just keep on checking, folks. Okay, so let's see what we got for rainfall accumulation. So, whenever there are rainfall amounts in places like on the shores of Lake Ontario, all the way down to Charleston, West Virginia, rainfall estimates are only up to an inch and a half in localized areas. Then we go to the southeast. We start off with the Smoky Mountains in eastern Tennessee, getting up to an estimate of an inch or two. In South Carolina, up to 3 inches of rain along the South Carolina coast. Parts of Georgia, up to 2 inches of rain. Florida, some places getting up to an inch of rain. Others maybe up to 3 inches of rain. Locally, heavier amounts are possible, especially throughout the rest of the Gulf Coast. Up to an inch or two, though. Then we go to the southern plains, about no more than half an inch there. In some places, especially up to an inch of rain in some parts of the desert southwest, Colorado. A few places in the Great Basin, up to an inch or inch and a half of rain. No, up to half an inch to an inch of rain. In the Sierra Nevadas, up to an inch of rain there. These are estimates, folks. It doesn't really mean that they're actual amounts. Consult with your local officials to find out the exact amounts of rain that were accumulated, plus gusts and sustained winds. They are the ones that have been actually recorded and will tell you the real story. This is just these are just estimates, folks. Or predictions. Alright? Yeah, and I did say that we're gonna talk about... Oh, wait, no. This is not what I wanted to do. Let's check some swells. Well, there are a lot of swells that's still occurring there. They're slowly dissipating, but, the Long Island Sound, it's quite nice, though. The water's fine. Chesapeake Bay as well, but along the ocean beaches, it's still far from the best ideal time to get in the water. But if you're on the west coast of Florida, especially the Gulf Coast, you're fine. Maybe like along the southeast coast, but much of the northeastern coastline, you are far from going into the water at this point. Waves, still a thing. Especially along the Bahamas. Yeah, because this storm was massive, and even though it's dissipating, there's still a lot of rough waters that are occurring all throughout the western half of the Atlantic. And even some that's just between Africa and the Windward Islands. We'll get to the tropics momentarily, folks. Of course, so right now we're dealing with the upper level winds, so this is kind of a tropical update, and then once we're done with the 3-day forecast for the upper level winds, we'll definitely get in depth with the tropical update. So right now, treat this as like your semi-tropical update. Okay, this is the GFS model using the 500 millimar map, which is above our heads. Okay, so assume that. Alright, so let's see what we got. Okay, so 18Z, which translates to 6 p.m. Zulu time, which means it's 2 o'clock. Okay, let's assume that this is right now, folks. All right. Now, what we have here is that we have a trough just located north of the Great Lakes region. This is also an upper level low, an upper level high that's still in place throughout the interior parts of the west, like the Great Basin, the Desert Southwest. This translates to a ridge that's still ongoing there. Another ridge just located over Long Island and the New York City area, and another ridge just located offshore from Florida and the Bahamas. What does this mean? Oh, well, there's a tiny bit of ridge just located over Arkansas, and weak trough over the southeast. So what does this mean? Somewhat weather could happen throughout offshore from the Pacific Northwest. Yet somewhat weather still happening in the early hours of the day in the West Coast. I mean, given that it's 11:07 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time there along the West Coast, rain is still occurring throughout parts of the Great Lakes region, and especially parts of the southeast too, getting a lot of storms going, and more daytime thunderstorms right now in the peninsula part of Florida. And as for the Ozarks, they're getting some thunderstorms going right now, folks. All right, so let's move into 24 hours from now, and which is going to be Sunday afternoon. And we do have there's still an upper level low still in place just north of the Great Lakes region, but the trough becomes more intense. There's a jet streak right there located over the Great Lakes region. A ridge, an upper level high gets weaker, but there's still a ridge in place over the Pacific Northwest. Just another trough just located over the southeast, particularly over Georgia. What does this mean? Well, there's going to be some strong to severe weather in some places in the Great Lakes region, especially in the interior parts of the Northeast, and even parts of the Northeast too. And especially going down to Florida, where there are some chances of severe weather there, and especially throughout parts of the Mid-Atlantic, and maybe even a chance of wet weather throughout parts of the West Coast. Now we move on to Monday afternoon. So there's going to be an upper level low that's still in place, and yet there is a jet streak over the Ohio Valley and parts of the Northeast, which means there's going to be some severe storms that are going to happen, strong to severe storms throughout much of the Northeast, going down to the Carolinas. And there's a ridge, a weak ridge over the Great Basin, which could mean that there could be some few showers and storms throughout parts of the Sierra Nevadas, all the way to the Northern Rockies and the Great Basin. Some places could experience some pop-up showers and storms there. And finally, by Tuesday afternoon, upper level low gets weak, but there's still a trough, and a jet streak gets strong. It's still strong just over the Mid-Atlantic and the Ohio Valley. And there's another trough just located north of New England, and a ridge just located over the Rocky Mountains. What does this mean? There's going to be some wet weather, some storms in the interior parts of the West, like the Mojave Desert, the Colorado River Valley, parts of the Great Basin, and plenty of strong to severe storms as far south as Georgia and Alabama, and as far north as Maine. Hold on a minute, folks. I don't know why the mouse just dropped. All right. So that's it for the 3-day forecast. Now let's make this a full tropical update. So let's zoom out by tuning into the North Atlantic. So let's go back to here, right, and focus on the tropical Atlantic. So There is an area of disturbance that's rather an area of interest that's located just northeast of Puerto Rico. Tropical waves, two of them just east of the Windward Islands. One of them is coming out of Africa. The other one is near the Windward Islands. So let's take a look into 24 hours from then. This one gets weaker, but yet it still maintains its structure, but it's still far from making making landfall inland throughout the East Coast. Not even much swelling going on, but that's because it's not large enough. And that tropical wave, well, it's just nothing but a big rainmaker that's going to happen throughout throughout the Eastern Caribbean. And a tropical wave that's going to occur throughout, could be in the making, just coming out of Africa. A trough makes its way, affecting the East Coast. And this system right here on Monday morning, it's still gonna be a bit organized, but not much though. Still weak, and there's this weak tropical wave. It's gonna bring in some rainfall, good amount of which throughout the tropics. And this system, though, I don't know if I want to consider that as something worthy to keep watch, but based on what it looks like, there is some potential there. Trough, it's in place throughout the East Coast, eastern third of the country, which means cold air starts sweeping in onto the eastern third of the country. Then for Tuesday afternoon, well, then the system tends to get somewhat organized, just a bit, but kind of vaguely though. And one could come out of Africa. The Saharan dust, would cover throughout the tropical Atlantic, throughout the ITCZ, or the doldrums, and it could make things quite difficult for development throughout just outside the tropical wave. And as the system that we're talking about, that's located northeast of Puerto Rico, that's long gone, and it's going to get eaten up by the trough. We move on to Wednesday afternoon. Well, it gets weaker, and strong upper-level winds dominate throughout the ITCZ. The trough is still there, and it's basically going to eat up whatever is left of this tropical wave. Then we move on to Thursday afternoon, all of which is gone, folks. And there could be something forming just northwest of the Cape Verde Islands, tropical wave coming out of Africa, but it looks relatively weak. Trough gets deep, which means cold air sinks in. Friday afternoon, strong winds aloft along the tropical Atlantic, throughout the Caribbean. Not much coming out of Africa. And the Gulf of Mexico is relatively quiet. Trough will dominate the East Coast, hindering any chance of development. Then as we move to to next Saturday, well, basically it's just very strong winds aloft, even with the wave coming out of Africa. Highly doubtful that it'll be much of a threat anytime soon. This trough that's dominated the East Coast is slowly moving out, and for what I can tell, folks, is not much is going to happen in the next week or so. Now let's use the European model, folks, just to compare and contrast anything. And just to the northeast of Puerto Rico, there is something there that's brewing. Maybe a little bit of a chance of development just off the Carolinas. Tiny bit of a tropical wave located just east of the southern half of the of the Windward Islands. Hold on a minute. There is a tropical wave coming out of Africa, but my prediction, it's not going to be much of a threat. Now we move on to 24 hours from then, and this does form, but it's not going to do much. I mean, it's weak, it's small, and it's going to get eaten up by a trough. Move out to sea, where it gets weak as it moves towards colder waters. But the wave, just a tiny bit of wave, make its way through the Windward Islands, but it's just going to dump a lot of rain there. And to the east, a big wave coming out of Africa. Looks promising, but however, the Saharan desert, the dust would surround the system, and just doesn't really have any good potential, to be honest. But we'll see. Then into Monday afternoon, something could happen. But this system does get stronger, but very smaller, though. Like, its winds are so concentrated on just one little area there. But there's a trough that's going to dominate throughout the eastern third of the country. Plenty of wind shear to go around on the outside of the wave. And it's going to... it's going to make parts of the Caribbean dry. Nothing much going on in the Caribbean, in the Gulf of Mexico. And there's still a wave that's still there, but folks, doesn't look like as though that there is much of a chance of development, considering at its status, strong winds aloft, wrapping around the system, and it's not going to do much. Barometric swamp still over the Gulf. A trough will be located on the eastern third of the country. And now we move on to Wednesday afternoon. Wave will make its debut in the Windward Islands, but it's just going to deliver some rain. Plenty of rains to go around it over there in the Windward Islands. A little bit of wave just located near Jamaica. Trough still dominating throughout the east coast. And then we move to Thursday afternoon. Chances of development could be here, but not much is going to happen though. And the winds aloft will get very strong. Saharan dust, all that. It's not going to be much to talk about because, I mean, it's just, there's not going to be much chance of development there. It's going to, the winds aloft are strong right along the ITCZ. Then as we move towards Friday afternoon, then that's the part where we're just going to have to stop there for now. Now, we check here with the National Hurricane Center. Yes, it does have 100% chance of development within the next 2 days, especially 7 days. So, it could form into a tropical storm or at least a tropical depression within the next 2 days or later today, I bet. But for here, well, it's got a 20% chance of development within the next 2 to 7 days. And it's not really looking good, folks, in terms of any hurricane that wants to make landfall in the East Coast. And, while the waters are somewhat warm, even despite Aaron, sucking all of the Gulf Stream's warm waters, that was never enough for Aaron to make landfall. It's just only going to, allow, future systems to wait until the moment is right, meaning that the worst conditions just only bought time for the Gulf Stream to heat up again, and then future systems just about in a few weeks from now they'll take that chance. But right now that's just my guess. But what you guys are seeing right now, these are just These are what the forecasters at the National Hurricane Center are predicting. And, well, this one has a better chance of causing some trouble throughout Bermuda, but to the U.S. Mainland on the East Coast, not much is going to happen. It's just going to be a small system, nothing much. Just a system that's off the Windward Islands. Not much is going to happen. Alright, folks. Let's head back to Radar Omega right now and talk about the 3-day forecast. So let's go ahead and do that. This is for tonight. We're going to start from tonight all the way to Monday night. Go to temperature. Gotta see the chat real quick. Okay, nothing much. Okay, so for tonight, by tonight, where the heat waves? Well, hold on a minute. Heat waves will be located throughout Texas, lower Mississippi Valley, much of the desert Southwest, parts of the Great Basin, California, Pacific Northwest, especially southern Idaho. Chilly temperatures will throughout the day will be located throughout the upper Mississippi Valley, northern Great Lakes region, and even coastal Maine. Let's see what we got for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, where are the warm lows? They're in southern Florida, eastern Texas, southern Arizona, and southeastern California. Parts of the Central Valley, California. Where the chilly lows, they're located all over the upper Mississippi Valley, the Dakotas, Montana, the Rockies, parts of the Great Basin, a few places throughout the Great Lakes region. As for tomorrow night, by tomorrow night there will be a lot of heat throughout Texas, the lower Mississippi Valley, especially much of the desert Southwest, California, Pacific Northwest, parts of the Great Basin, especially southern Idaho. Chilly temperatures will be in the Colorado Rockies, the northwestern part of the Great Lakes region. For Monday morning, where are the warm lows? Warm lows are located in South Florida, southern Arizona, southeastern California, parts of the Central Valley. Where the chilly lows, the Rockies, the northern Great Plains, upper Mississippi Valley, parts of the Ohio Valley, and much of the Great Lakes region. It gets really cold in the upper Mississippi Valley. That's when you have colder temperatures spilling into the central part of the country. All because of this dip in the jet stream that's going to dominate throughout the eastern third of the country. And thus you have very cold air seeping into right on the left side of the trough, which means that it is the Great Plains, upper Mississippi Valley. Now, what about Monday night? By Monday night, there's going to be a lot of heat throughout much of Texas, lower Mississippi Valley, desert Southwest, the West Coast, parts of the Great Basin. Chilly lows, well, chilly temperatures will be in the Colorado Rockies, the upper peninsula of Michigan. Finally, for Tuesday morning, there's going to be plenty of warm lows throughout Florida, much of the Gulf Coast, parts of the desert Southwest, parts of the parts of Northern California. Chilly lows will be all over much of the Rockies, the Great Plains, Upper Mississippi Valley, the Great Lakes region, parts of the Ohio Valley, and even parts of the interior Northeast will get some chilly weather. And now let's switch gears to the dew point. Where's the dew point? Plenty of humidity to go around throughout much of the south. The Ohio Valley, have the Great Lakes region to the east, and parts of the Northeast will get some humidity, especially parts of Arizona and even much of the West Coast. What about for tomorrow morning? By tomorrow morning, there will be lots of humidity throughout much of the south, the rest of the East Coast, the Ohio Valley, Southern Plains, much of Arizona, and parts of the West Coast, and even some little bit in parts of the Great Basin. Not much though. Now, what about tomorrow night? By tomorrow night, lots of humidity throughout the East Coast, the Gulf Coast, much of the South, the Southern Plains, and much of the West Coast. A few places in Arizona. Now, let's try... let's see. Monday morning. Monday morning. Plenty of humidity throughout the Gulf Coast, the East Coast, parts of Arizona, and parts of the West Coast. A lot of dry air starts seeping in into the Northern Plains, Upper Mississippi Valley, especially the Northern Rockies. For Monday night, what's going to happen? Okay, so there's going to be plenty of humidity throughout the Southern Plains, the Gulf Coast, and the East Coast, but not in the interior parts of the Northeast, not in the interior parts of the Mid-Atlantic, and not in the interior parts of the South. Some humidity will occur throughout parts of Arizona and especially parts of the West Coast. Finally, by Tuesday morning, where's the humidity? It's all over the Gulf Coast, parts of the Southeast, and especially the coastal parts of New England, the desert Southwest, and much of the West Coast. A little bit of humidity will occur throughout the western half of the Great Plains and parts of the Great Basin, and even a few parts throughout the Mid-Atlantic. Let's talk about convection using CAPE. Let's see what's going to happen for tomorrow night. For tonight. I don't know why they said tomorrow night. Plenty of convection to go around throughout the Gulf Coast, throughout Dixie Alley, the Appalachian Mountains, Southern Plains all the way to the Great Lakes. Convection throughout parts of the Rockies, like the Colorado Rockies and the Wyoming Rockies, parts of the desert Southwest, parts of the Great Basin. What about tomorrow morning? Where's the Cape? A lot of convection throughout the Gulf Coast, a little bit in the Appalachian Mountains, a few places in the Great Plains, parts of the desert Southwest will get some convection. And what about tomorrow night? Where's the worst convection? That's going to happen throughout the Gulf Coast, the Southeast, much of the East Coast, except for the coastal side of the Northeast, though. Not because there's not much there, unlike the inland parts. Plenty of CAPE throughout the interior parts of the west, plus the Pacific coastal part of the Pacific Northwest. Oh man, more background music. Great, great. Oh, Monday morning. Alright, for Monday morning, where's the Cape? A lot of convection throughout much of the Gulf Coast. A little bit of convection throughout the East Coast, as well as the interior parts of the West. Except for the Northern Rockies, though. Now, what about Monday night? Monday night, there's going to be plenty of convection throughout the Gulf Coast, the southeast, a little bit of convection throughout much of New England and parts of the New York City area, and parts of Texas. Plenty of convection just located in the interior, in the Great Basin, parts of the desert Southwest, and plenty of convection throughout the coastal parts of the Pacific Northwest. Finally, Tuesday morning, there's going to be a lot of convection throughout much of the Gulf Coast, plus South Florida. A little bit of convection throughout the desert Southwest, Great Basin, and the interior parts of the Pacific Northwest. And finally, now let's switch to the radar. Hold on a minute. Oh boy. Yeah, I woke up too early, folks. I woke up too early and didn't really get enough sleep as a result. But we're almost done with the stream. There's going to be a lot of storms tonight throughout much of the south, the interior parts of the northeast, the Ohio Valley, parts of the Great Lakes region, much of the desert Southwest, the Great Basin, Sierra Nevadas, Colorado Rockies. A few clouds and showers throughout much of the Pacific Northwest. For tomorrow morning. Where are the showers and storms? They're in the Gulf Coast, the southeast, some parts of the interior south, and especially throughout parts of the northeast. Storms will occur throughout the parts of the Great Plains. If you place much of the Great Basin, will get lots of storms going. A few places in the desert Southwest. A few stray clouds and showers throughout parts of the West Coast. Now, what about tomorrow night? Tomorrow night, there's going to be a lot of storms throughout the East Coast, the Gulf Coast, the interior South, and parts of the West Coast, parts of the Great Lakes region. And plenty of storms occurring throughout the southern plains, the Great Basin, and parts of the desert Southwest. A few clouds and showers throughout the coastal part of the Pacific Northwest. Hold on a minute, folks. Got to remove, the spammers, because spammers are not welcome. So, adios, spammers. Now we move on to talk about Monday morning. Still some clouds and showers throughout the northeast. Some storms still going on throughout the Gulf Coast. Some offshore showers, offshore storms are there. And plenty of strong to severe weather throughout the southern plains. Throughout the Great Basin, some clouds and showers and a few storms are there, plus the desert Southwest and Sierra Nevadas, parts of the Cascades, as well as parts of the West Coast getting some stray showers and clouds. Now, what about for Monday night? By Monday night, there's going to be a lot of storms throughout the Gulf Coast, southern plains, and especially the desert Southwest, Great Basin, Cascades, Sierra Nevadas, and parts of the Northern Rockies too. And finally, folks. Tuesday morning were the storms, so there's going to be a lot of storms throughout the southern plains, the mid Mississippi Valley, the Gulf Coast. We get some showers and storms there, especially the desert Southwest and much of the Great Basin, Wyoming Rockies. A few clouds and showers throughout parts of the eastern part of the Great Lakes region, especially the leeward side of the Cascades, but some parts of the West Coast we get some stray showers and clouds going. Alright, folks, so this is it. It's 2:37 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I've reached past the 1 hour mark, which was 2:30, and now I'm going to conclude the stream, but before I do that, I'm going to do the weather topic of the day, folks. Let's go ahead and do that, but right now I just need to change to here to talk about temperatures. Alright. Now, let me go ahead and hold on a minute. Never mind. Okay. So, what's the weather topic of the day? So, the weather topic of the day is how do shadows affect daytime and nighttime temperatures? I think I can hear background music. Hold on. Change of plan, folks. I'm going to split the weather topic of the day into two, but I'm going to do the nighttime one in another time. Now the question is only going to be how do shadows affect daytime temperatures? Okay, so shadows decrease surface temperatures by blocking direct solar radiation, which is the primary source of heat on sunny days, leading to a cooler local environment compared to sunlit areas. The presence of shade reduces the amount of solar energy absorbed by surfaces, lowering their temperature and providing thermal comfort by preventing excessive... Ah, man, I'm so sorry about that, folks. My mind's going elsewhere. I'm just tired. Man, I've never yawned like that before. Okay. Shadows decrease surface temperatures by blocking direct solar radiation, which is the primary source of heat on sunny days, leading to a cooler local environment compared to sunlit areas. The presence of shade reduces the amount of solar energy absorbed by surfaces, lowering their temperature and providing a thermal comfort. Hold on a minute. Oh, man. Shadows decrease surface temperatures by blocking direct solar radiation, which is the primary source of heat on sunny days, leading to a cooler environment compared to sunlit areas. The presence of shade reduces the amount of solar energy absorbed by surfaces, lowering their temperature and providing thermal comfort by preventing excessive heat gain, especially in urban environments. Whew, folks. I finally got through. Yeah, despite the outside noise and as well as my yawning. Alright, guys, I'm going to leave it there for right now. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the afternoon, but I will be back at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for Kingdom Hearts 2. But the national weather discussion of the tropical update, that is over for today. But in the meantime, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time later today for Kingdom Hearts 2. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna go get lunch and do other things. Man, there's just so much background noise. Anyway, take care, you guys. Stay safe out there. Protect yourselves and others. And do hit me with a follow and turn on the notifications so that you guys will know when I'll be streaming the next time. Whether if I'm on time or late or whatever. Point is, folks, you'll know when I'll be streaming the next time. Once you hit me with a follow and turn on the notifications. But until the next time I stream, peace out, everybody. Love you all. Signing out.